everyone's talking about this, so we're going to have to talk about this because this is a major issue that, of course, the press is getting wrong. This, of course, is the whole conversation happening around Donald Trump and this supposed impeachment, which, of course, we're going to update you since our last video about this topic, about all the latest information that's happening here, the two dueling sides here, and the more likely scenario playing out here because you're definitely not being told the truth by the mainstream media. So a lot of this is moving very fast, so we're just going to give you the latest developments. As just moments ago, the House Democrats issued their first subpoena in this impeachment inquiry for current Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to release and produce Ukrainian documents to the U.S. House of Representatives that are a part of this impeachment, quote, inquiry. And man, this is going to be a very long and boring, drawn-out Russiagate 2.0 waste of time. You'll see why I believe this in just a little bit. But the Democrats and the mainstream media are definitely, I guess, putting on their activist hats as we're seeing very, quote, fair and balanced news articles like this one from Slate. Again, I'm just being sarcastic here. As they say, Democrats have Trump on the ropes. They must act now. Impeachment. Again, this looks like a protest sign than a news article here. And you really do see the bias, which you really do need to cut through when looking at all of this, because I do believe that this will eventually fire back against the left. This goes into a theory that I think is happening here that I will entertain at the end of this video. But especially when looking at the mainstream media coverage of this, we have to understand the mainstream media picks and chooses their particular talking points and issues very carefully and script them very well to play out towards a bigger agenda and goal by the special interests that they serve. You know, the truth, virtues, morals don't matter to any of these people. It's all about their agenda, the power that they're trying to get, the divide and conquer agenda that they're trying to set. And when the mainstream media is talking about and praising the protection of whistleblowers, you have to understand that these are the same institutions that cheered on and even celebrated in some instances the destruction, imprisonment, and unfair prosecution of actual whistleblowers before us, like Chelsea Manning, Edward Snowden, Julian Assange, and others. And when there's an anonymous CIA whistleblower that could very clearly be serving an agenda here, but again, that's not questioned even by the mainstream media. This, of course, should raise your suspicions to what actually is going on here. What is the bigger agenda being served here? Because again, even Edward Snowden, another CIA, NSA whistleblower that was ridiculed, harassed, dragged through the coals for being a whistleblower, came out recently, just even 2 weeks ago before this scandal erupted, and talked about how Joe Biden, the man in the center of this controversy, actually threatened many countries to not give Edward Snowden whistleblower protection and asylum. Which, if you look at what's happening to Chelsea Manning now, look what's happening to Edward Snowden. Edward Snowden has every reason to seek asylum. So this newfound care and consideration for whistleblowers and our, quote, democracy, bull. Total bull that needs to be called out. Another latest development that's happening right now is we're getting information that the White House has been keeping a lot of information, including phone calls with Russian President Vladimir Putin and the Saudi Crown Prince, from being public. Allegedly, the CIA whistleblower is saying that Trump made a, quote, alarming promise to an unnamed foreign leader. Again, you couldn't get more vague here. Vanity Fair, I mean, could have totally made this up. And you should always be extremely skeptical of stories based on anonymous sources, because it could be totally, absolutely made up or used to engineer a certain point of view for a particular action that someone wants to have. And this administration, as well as other administrations, have used fake news, anonymous sources. The Democrats, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, have done that as well to, of course, muddy the waters and confuse the average civilian and public, which is another factor that everyone needs to realize here, especially basing their information off a, quote, anonymous CIA official. Again, there couldn't be a worst organization with a worst track record than the CIA when it comes to telling the truth in the media. I was like, okay, so that's another fact that people should consider during this entire scandal that's unfolding right now. We also have seen many headlines moments ago saying how the White House, quote, tried to cover up the details of this call that has Trump now in, quote, alleged hot water. And it is true that the White House did store this particular call in a separate system used for classified information. And they even admit that they did this mainly because, according to them, they have been victims of many leaks, which some experts say is an unusual move. But it is true that Trump's administration and his tenure as president has been filled with just an incredible amount of leakers and moles that have been releasing information to the media. And whether you believe it is justified or not, there definitely is a lot of paranoia within the White House. And now, before we move on with more latest developments and some of my own personal speculations about what is happening here, I kind of wanted to remind everyone, hey, we're giving you all this information for free for you because of your support. And one of the ways you could support us is even without spending a dime and simply using a platform that I personally use and I personally enjoy that is called Brave. It is an internet browser that saved me 5.4 hours, blocked almost now 400,000 ads, and is a privacy-focused utility that also rewards you, and if you download our link and use it for 30 days, rewards us and keeps independent media running with cryptocurrencies. And to be completely honest, it's not trash, and I actually do use it, and in my opinion, it's way better than even Google Chrome, which again, spies on you, but again, is very convenient. This is just as convenient. So, if you do want to support independent media and want to do it without spending a dime, download the link below and start using Brave. Now, the big question that everyone has here is, will this lead to Trump's impeachment? Will Trump be ousted from the presidency? And Mike Pence will come in, which would make a lot of people really not happy. But is impeachment on the table? And in my opinion, no. But the general public, according to some polls, this is according to The Hill, that sponsored a poll with Harris that reported that the support for impeachment proceedings against Donald Trump has risen, quote, 12 points compared to a similar poll conducted 3 months ago. And that now 47% of Americans favor impeachment proceedings. But again, we have to understand polls are also a great form of manipulation, and with the particular wording and choice of questions could lead to particular outcomes that a particular group may want. But we can't deny the fact that the mainstream media and many Democrats, especially the Squad, have been using this opportunity even to sell merchandise that now says impeach the MFer. And this is from a congresswoman, Rashida Tlaib, that is now officially selling these t-shirts. We have also other representatives who are using this opportunity to work on their sarcastic comedy bits in a really badly timed performance during hearings with Adam Schiff. In a very uncalibrated speech during a hearing, decided to completely fabricate and make up a supposed conversation that happened between Donald Trump and the Ukrainian president that this matter is all about. And of course, he got criticized for it, but again, this is not what this issue should be about. And not to be outdone, we of course have Gerardo Rivera, who's saying that this entire matter could be traced back to groups like Media Matters, which again is a pretty dumb comment. And not to be outdone, we of course have Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi saying that the Attorney General, which with the Justice Department, by the way, found Trump not guilty of any of these charges levied against him originally by the Squad, copycatted by Nancy Pelosi. But now Nancy Pelosi is saying that William Barr has gone rogue, and that, quote, he is engaged in the cover-up of an alleged cover-up because Trump wanted Joe Biden investigated for corruption, for a situation that looks extremely sketchy. That really, I mean, there's a lot of things you can criticize Donald Trump on. We criticize him a lot on this YouTube channel, but calling another foreign leader and inquiring about a very serious case that does look very bad for Biden. I mean, come on now. And in Ukraine, you have competing stories of what actually happened here, as we have one Ukrainian prosecutor who actually did investigate a lot of the claims against Joe Biden's son, came out and said Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, who's involved in all of this, did nothing illegal. Meanwhile, on the other side, other Ukrainian officials, as well as the prosecutor who was fired, are saying the complete opposite, and that there needs to be a bigger investigation into Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, who, by the way, was being paid over $50,000 a month at a very prestigious high position at Ukraine's #1 energy company that, even according to the New York Times, tried to profit off having Joe Biden's son a part of their corporation. All of this when the average salary was $200 a month for the average Ukrainian, and this man with no experience in energy, no experience in even the Ukrainian language, got that coveted position. And there are many ongoing ethical questions about Joe Biden and his family's relationship to, of course, highly lucrative government contracts and positions that benefited the Biden family that should be absolutely questioned and looked into. So if you're going to investigate Trump, sure, investigate everyone else too, to have a level playing field here. But you're not really seeing the same calls by the Democrats to do that, obviously, because Biden is a part of their gang. Trump, of course, is firing back, even putting together a very highly edited campaign-style video talking about the details of this case, breaking it down very simply with not many nuanced points, and only sharing his side of the story. He is also saying that the whistleblower is not a whistleblower at all, and that he is a, quote, partisan operative who was not told anything by officials, and that the original 9-page letter by this alleged whistleblower was not written by him, but written by a law firm that wanted these greater calls for impeachment. And Trump's comments, especially the private comments, where he specifically said, quote, "You know what we've used to do in the old days when we were smart, right? The spies and treason, we used to handle it a little differently than we do now," end quote. And talking about this particular matter at a private event doesn't win him any supporters. And no matter the situation, comments and ideas like that are pretty dumb, to say the least. And definitely not the way he should be handling this entire situation. And on the other hand, everything released by anonymous CIA officials should be questioned at the utmost discretion. As we're even getting new information that I just found out right now, that allegedly, according to the Federalist, the intelligence community actually eliminated a requirement that allowed this situation to happen, specifically eliminating the need for whistleblower complaints to contain direct first-hand knowledge of wrongdoing, which raises a lot of questions. And again, I would need a second source to go on about this. Another aspect that also deserves to be questioned is the narrative that this prosecutor that Joe Biden proclaimed he himself fired, that this prosecutor wasn't corrupt at all. And I think it is very clear that this prosecutor who was fired in Ukraine was predominantly fired because he represented the old Ukraine system that the United States and NATO helped overthrow, and wasn't playing ball with Western politics, but still being favorable to the previous regime and to their ties to Russia, which I think is pretty evidently clear here throughout this entire situation. So yeah, already a very confusing political situation unfolding in front of us that will continue to unfold from here, as of course we're going to have more hearings, more allegations, more anonymous whistleblowers, more statements from unknown people from the Central Intelligence Agency. But overall, all you have to know is to question everything in this particular case, because there are legitimate things that you could be mad about Trump and criticize Donald Trump, but for this minor thing to unfold that the way that it is right now really should have you questioning the bigger motives and what's really happening here, which leads me to kind of two theories that are kind of out there right now about the real reason why such a small incident is leading to such major developments and the possibility of, quote, impeachment. Now, personally, I don't believe impeachment will happen here. I do believe everyone is not doing themselves a favor, including Trump's side, including the Democrat side, but this will come back and swing against the Democrats very strongly, in my opinion, just looking at this from the first-hand analysis that we are seeing right now. But two possible theories, and again, these are just theories that are not backed by evidence that I'm seeing portrayed online, are kind of interesting to wonder about, to kind of think about when looking at these events unfolding. One of the theories out there is that this is the alleged kind of deep state, this kind of CIA military-industrial complex, elusive, secretive group within the government, the quote shadow government, that is mad at Donald Trump for not launching a war with Iran, which he was dead set on doing, and then 10 minutes before airstrikes changed his mind on. So this could be a way of explaining a deeper kind of power struggle happening within the executive office of the White House. Another possible scenario is this could be all wound up by the quote squad, who, in an attempt to somehow tarnish Trump, also at the same time get rid of one of the people that is the front runners for the next upcoming election, which many people see as the next John Kerry, Joe Biden. This could be potentially, again, these are all just theories. These are not my opinions. These are just the two theories out there. This could be the squad, which has been very vocal, which has brought up the calls for impeachments, which has predominantly made this an issue that Nancy Pelosi caught on to and continued for bigger calls of hearings around this. This could be a way of the newer Democrats getting rid of Joe Biden from that primary position, since of course everyone's going to be talking about his corruption right now, to put someone in there who has a better chance against Donald Trump. Because again, personally myself and talking to many other analysts, someone like Joe Biden definitely does not stand a chance against someone like Donald Trump. And that someone who is more of an outsider, someone who is more anti-establishment, would have a better chance going up against Donald Trump. So again, those are just two different particular theories out there. Which ones do you think is more prevalent as the situation unfolds? Or is it the one that we're being told about right now, which would be pretty dumb? But what do you think? I love to learn from my audience. I love constructive criticism, and I really deep down appreciate you amazing human beings staying this long with me to go through all the analysis, to go through all the news, to get to this incredibly important distraction that's happening right now in front of our eyes. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thank you again so much for watching. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.